Estimated that Americans wagered almost $37 billion last year on big-time sports, and much of that illegally, much of it by telephone. Tonight, NBC's Brian Ross reports on the biggest bookie crackdown in U.S. history. Brian?
Tom, until this week, the people who run the huge illegal sports gambling business thought they had a sure thing, a high-tech, offshore bookies paradise that handled hundreds of millions of dollars a year in sports bets. Just last weekend, the betting was heavy as the Buffalo Bills and 3 other NFL teams won big games in the playoffs leading up to the Super Bowl. It was a big day in the NFL, and it was a big day for this man, the man law enforcement authorities say is by far the biggest bookmaker in American history, Ron Sacco. Sacco, in his baseball cap and his gold Lincoln, is a familiar figure to police and federal agents in California who say Sacco is a kind of criminal genius who figured out a way to turn mob bookmaking into a multinational business. The secret to the Sacco operation was to move American bookies offshore to the Caribbean, to the Dominican Republic. And for the last year and a half, this luxury home became the nerve center of American sports gambling, equipped with its own satellite dishes and microwave antennas for state-of-the-art computers and an 800-number phone bank. It all ended this week when the FBI asked Dominican police to move in. And when the police and an NBC News camera crew arrived, the bets were still pouring in from American bettors using the 800 number and their own secret bettor's number to get in on the action.
502C. Buffalo minus 11 for nickel. Okay.
Buffalo minus 11, 1160 for one little dime.
1160. Buffalo minus 11 for a dime. You got it.
Thank you.
Bye.
Denver over, right?
What?
Over 195 and a half for 1,000.
2 dimes plus 4.
Buffalo's plus 4 for 2,000. 7301.
Okay.
In the investigation, police say they seized several $1 million. Authorities also seized these photos the bookmakers apparently took of themselves in their bookies' paradise. And what may be very embarrassing for people back in the States, lists of telephone numbers from cities all across the country used to place illegal bets.
This was described as the largest American bookmaking operation, with over $100 million a month being bet.
William McGivern is the U.S. Attorney in San Francisco, whose office, along with the FBI, began the investigation of the offshore bookies.
Not only the massive nature of the organization makes it significant, but also the fact that the technology they used, they felt was going to evade investigative techniques.
This investigation of mob sports gambling has already led to a race-fixing scandal in Canada involving the drugging of horses. And authorities are now investigating similar allegations of racetrack and professional sports fixing in the United States. Back in the Dominican Republic, some 23 American bookies who thought they had a sure thing are now locked up in this Dominican prison, out of action. And at the bookies' high-tech nerve center, with 2 more big NFL games this Sunday, American bettors are still calling in. People in the sporting world say it will be much more difficult to place a bet with a bookie on this weekend's big games. But bookies and gamblers are resourceful people, and law enforcement authorities say they are sure to come up with a way to get back in action in time for the Super Bowl. Tom?
Thanks, Brian.